Oh, great harmony over there. Ooh. Hello and welcome. I am Lionmight. I'm a professional composer and music producer obsessed with video game music and nerd culture. And I quite enjoyed what I heard so far of the Clair Obscur soundtrack. And thanks to your recommendations, we're here to check out some more. Let's go. This is called Monoco. Whoa. Jazzy. Industrial jazzy? This is so groovy and funky. I love it. Oh, great harmony over there. Yeah, come on. Rhodes solo. Yeah, spicy. Ooh, those harmonies, man. Oh, what a great transition. I'm definitely in some Mediterranean jazz bar or something. Ooh! Great modulation. Ooh. I think that's my favorite part right there. Ooh, soothing. Sultry even. Damn. That saxophone is telling a story right there. A story without words. Woo. It's tickling my ears. All in the right ways. It's like jazz ASMR. Wow, okay. Short but sweet, but damn. Okay, I think... Let me scan. Okay, that intro alone makes this song a standout already. I don't even know what wizardry they achieved to use that sound, but probably some kind of talk box with some sound editing. Doesn't really matter. I'm not interested in the hows and whys, really. I'm just interested in the final result because a lot of those can be achieved by most synthesizers already. It's mostly the idea and the idea of what they wanted to do. And wow, they chose this. It's definitely a choice, and I respect them for it. Okay, so when I was first listening to this, from the beginning, because so far from what I've listened to with Clair Obscur soundtracks, they're mostly bordering on almost purely classical with a bit of folk, pop, and Broadway theatrical jazz. Not even theatrical jazz, just theatrical classical. But this one is so different so far. When I was listening, initially I thought, is this going to be some industrial sort of experimental performance art music? How wrong I was, of course, but, you know, they definitely gave a different impression in the beginning. Yeah, from the beginning until this part, 11 seconds in, it definitely sounded something that you would hear in experimental theater or in experimental dance theater pieces. And these are like what I would see in choreographies of modern dance troupes or modern ballet troupes, where they would do these contorting choreographies with this non-melodic, multimeter kind of music that is just outrageously experimental. And it definitely felt like that in the beginning, but then as soon as this part hit, yeah, Yeah, this is smooth jazz in an industrial kind of flavor, and I enjoy this so much. Oh my goodness, I just realized that I'm enjoying the drum pattern so much. It's not your traditional smooth jazz, because obviously it is not, but that kind of initial flavoring of the saxophone performance might give you the impression, oh, they're trying to be smooth jazz. Maybe they are, but the performance of the drum set kind of gave it away that it is not intended to be that way, at least for the drum part. Because it's very full. Because usually smooth jazz would try to make it sparse as possible. Something, but this one is like every space is seemingly filled, and that might not just be the drum set. It could be the drummer and a percussion player and some other synthesized element somewhere that is just there filling all the rhythmic gaps. And it's giving it this feeling of industrialness. What I've heard so far in 30 years as composer, industrial art music is something that is satirizing the industry of life. So sometimes you would hear factory sounds or conveyor belts or something that imitates those patterns translated into rhythms and just something kind of like that, industrial music or something like that. And I'm not talking about industrial techno. I'm talking about another side of industrial kind of music, which is more experimental. And you would usually hear this in art performances or performance art in modern dance troupes, what you would usually see in performance halls of classical ballet or something like that. Yeah. Everything is filled. Flutter, 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 flutter. It's definitely two saxophones, I would say. This is, again, another example of counterpoint. There's a saxophone part here I can hear in my left IEM and my right IEM, or in-ear monitors, if you don't know what it is. Oh my goodness, it's just so well mixed. And the performance is so expressive. That could be ringtone material too. Has any one of you made this part your ringtone yet? Yeah, it's ear candy. So much ear candy. But then again, I personally find great saxophone performances, especially very expressive saxophone performances, to be top-notch ear candy. Oh, so good. This stank face moment. Yeah. Bluesy, come on. So good. So much ear candy right here. Ooh. Key change, of course. Let me explain for you why I find that part amusing. It's a simple idea, but expressed or arranged in a very smart way that you would notice it if you're like a nerd musician like me. Yeah, they start descending in a similar motion in different notes. And then this part, they veer in their own separate directions. One of them plays a long note while the other plays the moving notes, and then they intersect and then they exchange parts. It's a micro masterclass in simple counterpoint writing. Obviously, they know their stuff, and it's like a beacon when somebody who knows about music theory and composition hears that. It's like a beacon. Oh, yeah, we know our stuff. Yeah, I see you. I see what you're doing. Respect. Woo. Woo. Let's go. I'm guessing most of you only noticed, probably most of you, 99% of you, only pay attention to the saxophone part, which is beautifully played, very expressive, of course. And I wouldn't blame you. The fact that melodic music is usually made for the melodist, the main instrument or the main vocalist to be the center of attention. That's just how it is. But then again, for someone like me who likes to dissect everything else around it, everything else around the melody, yeah, the melody is nice, great. The performance is expressive and very delicious to the ears, but what else is there? And that's where I come in. That's where composers, nerd composers, such as myself and a lot of my friends, we pay attention to more than that. We pay attention to everything else surrounding that. And right now, my attention just got stolen by the drums. It's very underrated, but the drummer could have just chosen to play a basic kick drum beat with some hi-hat and just give space to the saxophone solo. No, but this is jazz. This is unequivocally a jazz performance, and part of jazz is, of course, improvisations. Improvisations doesn't mean that you'll always be disruptive or interrupting somebody else's solo spotlight. It is then your job to know your role. As a drummer, you're filling up the rhythm. But then, the saxophone part doesn't always play 100% of the time. For example, this part. See, there are microseconds or mini bars that the saxophone is silent or just fades away, gives that expressive, loud and soft kind of performance. What does the drummer do? The drummer fills up some rhythm in that empty space. Okay, let's start again from the saxophone solo, this expressive saxophone solo. Favorite part, as always. Okay, so this is our starting point. Listen, pay attention to what the drummer is doing. This is like a classroom lesson. I love it. Beautiful. See? The drummer. Fill-ins. And then the bass guitar, that is a fretless bass guitar, is also filling in. It is the saxophone player's turn to do the solo. It is a saxophone highlight. But the three other musicians, I assume the keyboardist, the drummer, and the bassist, are all doing their own improvisations, but they're respecting each other's space. They're interjecting in a tasteful way to fill up the void, so to speak. That is pretty much one of the beautiful aspects of a jazz performance, especially when the musicians are a cohesive unit, synergizing with each other's musical ideas. Again, pay attention to the drummer, the bass, and the keyboard. The keyboard is filling in some arpeggios, and the bass guitar is filling up the gaps. And the drummer is, of course, filling in bass. Okay, I think I'm mistaken. This is not a fretless bass. Or, well, technically, it is a fretless bass. It's a contrabass, which is also fretless, but kind of different timbres. It's like a butterfly emerging from a cocoon or something. Silent, and then the cocoon opens. Yeah, so I hope I gave you a little bit of jazz listening context when you ever listen to a great jazz performance, whatever the occasion is, or if you just are a listener of jazz already, try to pay attention to not just the melody. Pay attention to the other instruments. They're probably doing some other interesting stuff as well to complement each other. And that's how a great band works. And I would know this because I played with a band for more than 11 years. So yeah, this is beautiful. Thank you so much for suggesting this music. And of course, if you've been watching until this part of the video, you are a champ, and please suggest some more music for me to listen to. I'll see you on the next video. Bye.